It is certainly obligatory for me to say at this point, it's a changing of the guard. We got rid of those other two average analysts that decide to take up every segment on their own. And we've brought in two professionals, Dev and Raven. It's good to see you both again. Raven, on the back of that last match, Chiefs securing the points, we were just alluding to it then, it really makes this season just so insanely close, or stage, I should say.
It does make this stage insanely close, honestly. Yeah, like we talked about it does put Chiefs tied with Order, who we are about to see. But that means there's only 4 points to separate first and sixth at the moment. Of course, that could still change up. We have 2 games to play, but at the end of the day, APAC South is tight. You can never quite call it done until it's seriously done.
I was going to say, well, there's only one person that definitely can't call it, and that's you, Raven. You're currently 4-14, I believe, of the predictions. It's absolutely horrific from you. But Dev, as we start to look forward to our next matchup, QConfirm and Order, this one is sure to be just really confusing. I have no doubt about it. Order's form up and down. QConfirm looked so good up until their last match where they got absolutely spanked 7 ways, sideways by IG. What is going on right now?
That's it, isn't it? We don't really know what's going on in the QC camp. They went from having 3 insanely good games, 7-1 Chiefs, 7-5 against 7th Heaven, and then 7-5 against Knights, who were looking like potentially one of the best teams in the league, only to get 7-1 by Invictus. Really, really an embarrassing performance from them. Slapped silly, and yeah, we're wondering what is the next step for QConfirm. How can they come back from that? Of course, that game that they did play against IG was a bit of a black mark on their perfect record, but this is a very strong roster. And while they have never actually managed to break better than 5th place at the end of a stage or season ever in history at an APAC level, like that includes stage 1, it was APAC South, includes APAC North last year, even includes back in the day when we had APAC finals. These guys have never made it to top 4. This is a season where they put themselves in a strong position to break that record.
That's an insane little piece of history that you've brought up there, Dev, because that is kind of telling, to say the very least. And the fact that they still might not make it in the top 5 this stage is just ridiculous. But Raven, we must move on from QC. We must look to Order now, because this roster just has so much potential, and it feels like sometimes we see it and sometimes we're questioning whether it even exists.
Yeah, it has really been swings and roundabouts for these guys, but they're starting to gel. I feel like we really are starting to see more consistency.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like we're definitely far from seeing the peak of these 5 guys together. And in particular, got to highlight the man, Nate. He's been having some pretty big performances recently and pretty instrumental in some of the big victories they've been starting to net, both through Oceanic Nationals as well as APAC South.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, just another opportunity for them to try and continue ahead. But recent form is they're improving as the day goes by. I think that's dangerous to QConfirm, given that they did just have that absolute smacking on Tuesday from IG.
Pretty crazy when you look at that result there, Dev. But let's have a look at the vetoes. I was actually going to give you the opportunity to predict them, but I don't like you enough to do that. So we're going to look. We're going to have a look at Cafe. Dev, I'll give it back to you here so you can kind of dive into it. What are our thoughts?
Yeah, well, so if you did watch that QConfirm versus Invictus Gaming match just the other night, you would notice that, yes, we are going back to Cafe, where QConfirm were deleted by the Singaporeans 7-1. You look a bit further back, and it is a map that they play quite frequently in their national tournament, the Thailand Operations League, and they've had really good performances there. You do have to go pretty far back to see them win it, or even like the last time they actually played it at an APAC South level was against Xavier in stage 1, or now Elevate, and that was a loss 5-7. So overall, pretty shocking record for QConfirm if you take for granted like their national performance. But it's also not the best map we've ever seen from Order as well. Like you look into their history, the only 2 times since they were actually picked up by Order that they have played this were against Rafflecopter, the Oceanic team, and they lost both times, including once which was just 6 days ago in Oceanic Nationals. So this is finally a map where both of these teams are looking pretty poor.
Raven?
Yeah, well, Dev's just gone and Xenoxed me and basically just talked about all the talking points. But look, I feel like this is going to create a very even matchup, because to Dev's point, neither teams really have anything jumping out at me that makes me think, wow, they must be strong on Cafe, because it's not like that, as Dev beautifully portrayed. So I think, if anything, it's setting this up to be a really stellar, exciting game, because after what we saw on Tuesday from QC, I would say Order definitely has it in them to beat them on Cafe. But was that really all QC had to offer, or was Tuesday just a bad day for them?
It's a hard question to answer. Dev, maybe you do have the answer for that. What are we thinking in terms of them bouncing back here? What's the probability of your stats?
Give me 2 seconds. I'm just double checking. No, so QConfirm even played with their full lineup then. So I don't know. I think the real shambles for QC was their defense on Cafe. Just really, really shocking. They won the first round and they didn't win a single round after that. Of course, I feel like that's almost just as much on Invictus for the way that they played and how well they played and how well Speakeasy in particular played.
Yep.
But you know, Order is one of those teams that does have players talented enough. I'm looking mainly at Nate, who's the young gunner, Cutie, who's the veteran. Both of those guys could be popping off like 16-6 kind of stuff, like just like Speakeasy did against QConfirm. So I think QC is going to have to be really careful that they don't let any of those opportunities slip through. And I think that being spanked by Invictus just 2 nights ago on this very map will expose to them those weaknesses. And so they should be very aware of them. It's just about making sure that they're on the ball and punishing Order should they try and exploit the same things that Invictus did.
Thanks for that, Xenox. Very quickly, predictions from you there, Raven, before we jump into this one.
Does anybody really want my prediction? I think it's the real question, but they're going to
I
get
want
it.
to know who's going to lose, yeah.
I think I went for QConfirm. I actually don't remember anymore. Yeah, I did. I still think QConfirm is going to win. Just feel like Tuesday was a bit of an anomaly for them, and not good to discount, the rest of the performances they've already put in Stage 2. It doesn't quite evaporate that instantly. Yeah, I still think they're going to take it, but I reckon close. I wouldn't be surprised if it's even overtime, like 8-6 or something.
Fair enough. Well, you know what? The best way to find out how close it's going to be is to dive into it. We've got one commentator standing by with an incredible international experience. He's done so much in the game. And there's also Xenox. Enjoy.
Not wrong. Thank you very much, boys. Yes, it is going to be a good game between QConfirm and Order. Hopefully, for Order's sake, Ravens' continued predictions, continue the way that it has been trending, which is not so good. Guys, coming into this game, though, QConfirm, they're still on top of the standings, 9 points, but they are now tied first with Elevate.
Yeah, the blowtorch has been applied to QConfirm. Now we get to see if they crack under the pressure.
We head over to Cafe, which is maybe a bit of PTSD for Order off the back of last week and Nico and everything that happened over there. But it's a fresh game. It's a fresh chance and a fresh start here. And for Order, a good opportunity, guys, because the top 4 place will be theirs if they can win this game.
That would be big, wouldn't it? Order earlier in the stage did find themselves towards the bottom of the standings, but now they're making a late run, and who knows, maybe with QConfirm seemingly a little bit out of form, this could be their opportunity really to pounce. But heading into the bans, the first will be the Flores. Of course, those Rotero drones are incredibly useful in clearing out a lot of utility, and particularly here on Cafe, there's a lot of strongholds that can be disrupted. Now we get to see, will Order double down with the Thatcher? I would anticipate that they would not, and no, it will be Sledge trying to nullify some of that verticality.
Nothing too crazy at the moment. The Flores, has been chosen quite a bit recently since, of course, making its way in. And we are seeing its effectiveness to be, at times, okay. At other times, it has some pretty big impact. Mirror taken off the board. No surprises with that one. And QConfirm will be the final ban. For Order, though, they will be attacking first, guys. And obviously need to get off to a good start, I think. And play off a bit of that sort of momentum if they can build it early on against a team like QConfirm and try and shut them out early.
This final defense ban roll through. That will be the clash. Now that is, I guess, to be expected from QConfirm. They did ban the clash against Invictus on Tuesday night. Now that result didn't go the way that QConfirm would have liked. It was a 1-7 defeat, but they are sticking to the same band, so not changing up the game plan too much here heading into this one. And if Order have done their homework and watched that quick 15-minute VOD, then they themselves should know what to expect here from QConfirm, provided they play similarly. Now, you would expect them to change some things up, as it didn't work on Tuesday, but just how much you can change up in that time frame is pretty limited.
Yeah, obviously, I don't think you'd be expecting too many changes. I think Order, need to almost play their style. They need to play within themselves. We've seen the gridlock a couple of times. That wouldn't be totally out of the world. Although usually, correct me if I'm wrong here, but usually only see it if the Nomad is banned. In this case,
that is correct,
will
Jake.
actually 6-pick onto it, despite Nomad being available.
Decent start for you in the analysis department, Jake, so I can't fault you on
Thank you,
that.
man. Appreciate it.
You normally do see Nomad taking priority over the gridlock. In fact, regularly you only see the gridlock in play when that Nomad is banned. That said, top floor does throw a bit of a spanner in the works. Sometimes the gridlock can actually be more effective as you have the smoke grenades, which can prove really useful if you want to go for a drop execute, you want to get a little bit more aggressive. There's no other nades available here in the order lineup, so Specker could actually play a pretty pivotal role in that execute.
10 seconds left.
As for QConfirm coming into this game, as we have already alluded to, top spot, tied with Elevate now. Well, they're fresh off that horrific loss to Invictus Gaming on Tuesday, 7-1. That was an absolute stomp. We got to cast that one. Of course, it was on Cafe. It was a 5-1 first half, Guz. Oh, actually, well, I didn't cast it, but you guys did. And for Invictus Gaming, that was all on the attack, right? So for QConfirm, really, if they're going to improve in any area, or at least hope to improve, it will be their defense, as they get the opportunity now here to start this first half.
Lycolis getting aggressive over towards Cigar Lounge, does get one drone for his aggression. 7 remaining here for Order, so 3 taken down by the defense, and that is a good start, trying to limit some of the utility potential, or the information potential rather, here for Order, the majority of which their team is trying to locate some of these roamers. Now, Lycolis is in a pretty dangerous position here. Is being supported by Roldini, and will be looking to maybe find a kill or two on the rappel. We'll just have to see whether his shot is sharp in the first round.
Nitrocell goes out, misses the mark. Lycolis going to be taken off the board early. A bit of a trade there. 1 for 1. Not a bad one, considering Lycolis has been the star player for QConfirm this stage. On a 1.32 rating, plus 16 on the KD. That's going to be a big one. Jackdad will get the easy kill onto Roldini. And advantage for Order with 1.5 minutes to go in the first round.
Gotta say, you're pretty brave trying to bandit trick Red Wall in 2021. I mean, that's quite unusual. That is an old Cafe strat from way back in the ancient era of Siege, and even then it was a pretty frisky strat. So a little bit interesting there, in order to do a good job in cleaning it up. With 1:10 to go, the attack now has the advantage, but they need to think about this setup. Specker gets lit up there from Freezer. Healthcare in a dangerous position. He can hunker down a little bit here and try to hold on. Now, the defense does have 1 Nitro Cell to work with, but I would say that their Plantanol here is pretty limited. Order just need to take this opportunity, use the couple of drones remaining that they do have, or at least one that is alive, to try and find these defenders and dislodge them. But Producer Boom is the thorn in the side here for Order over towards Cocktail.
3 versus 3 with 40 seconds remaining in the round. Specker low health as well, so I guess you can give the advantage over to QConfirm. Healthcare still inside a freezer, hasn't been flushed out just yet. Nitrocell in hand from Producer Boom. Gonna throw this one past the smoke over towards Bart. Doesn't catch anything there, and Jackdad's gonna be able to get this diffuser down. Hashman with the flank. It is successful. There's one down. He goes for it though as well as Cigar Shop. 2 versus 1, but the plant is down. Good news for Order. Unfortunately, Producer Boom in a bit of a pickle.
Unfortunately, Order unable to get anyone onto the roof, which does make the post plant a little bit scary. They have intel inside of Shop, the defense that is, but Order able to find that pick in the post plant and claim the first round.
There's probably one area that has been a bit lacking for Order, I think, for Stage 2. Guz has been actually getting that diffuser down. They've only had 3 plants for all of Stage 2. All 3 of those through Jackdad. He now makes that 4 with that one. But it's a good sign early on, round 1, and gets that sort of momentum flowing. A couple of hell yeahs in the old comms as well. But it has been, you know, an area they have been lacking, I guess. So good signs there for Order, and for QConfirm. You know, this is kind of what happened from Invictus Gaming, but that was on a lesser scale. I mean, Invictus Gaming tore them to shreds on Cafe. It was slaughter. It was like a 20-minute game. That was a little bit slower pace, went down to the wire. So good signs for both teams early on.
Yeah, and it was very close there in the plant phase. Had that Nitro Cell have landed, the one that got caught on the bar fell a little bit short. That round could have played out very, very differently, and goes to show that a single piece of utility can have such an impact or be nullified. Fortunately for QC on that occasion, but yeah, I'll agree. I think it's good positive signs. It was a tight round. It was by no means a stomp by Order, and it does set us up for a pretty close match. We thought heading into this one it would be. Neither of these teams are particularly proficient on Cafe in recent times, and sometimes that, I guess, will lead to a messier game, a little bit scrappy, but you know what? That can be entertaining in its own right.
JackDad picked up a quad there as well, and really showing what can be done, you know, in that Habana role, and that, you know, it's not just sit back and let everyone else do the work, that you can get into the fray, get that plant down, find a few kills, that you need to be impactful, and it's a team game, and you need all 5 members playing at peak performance if you're going to find wins, especially against teams like QConfirm, especially at this sort of level at APAC South. A good sign and good start for Order. We'll see if they can back it up here into round 2, and the other thing to take note of is, you know, we've seen plenty of times teams come out of the gate, but then slow down. Oh, Nico, that's the way to start. That's like haul us off the board again nice and early. The star man for QConfirm having a bit of a rough start here on Cafe.
And no, you're not seeing that wrong. Nico is running the suppressor. And I mean, he makes it work. And it complements his playstyle. He is known for playing wacky angles, wall bangs, barricade bangs like we just saw there. And with the suppressor in hand, it of course suppresses, as the name would suggest, the sound a little bit. But most importantly, it hides the bullet trails as well and makes it very, very difficult to fight back if you don't know exactly where Nico is positioned. So that's something to keep our eye on here throughout the entirety of Stage 2. It's been played so far and in this match in particular. Now, elsewhere, Healthcare will eventually return fire. Specker taken off the board will limit some of the flank watch here for Order. Nitro Cell, he placed down below, but Roldini finds the pick in the end.
Yeah, Order just getting sort of picked apart here. Roldini having an impact as well, coming on in for this stage and having a good little start. Bailey just still making their way in. 3 versus 4, minute and 20 seconds remaining in the round.
Oh, that's
it's
dirty.
Still salvageable there for Order.
Sees the feet.
Oh, that's a pixel.
Bailey through the drone hole. That's into Laundry. Could cook a nade and might be able to catch his player off guard. It is Healthcare. Doesn't know where he's getting targeted from, but unfortunately for Order and for Bailey, that grenade not quite having the range, and that's all of his utility wasted. But Order do have control of pillars. They can apply pressure now in towards this reading bomb site, and QConfirm will need to try and respond.
40 seconds left into the second round. And again, similar to the first round, kind of slow towards the conclusion. Producer still just holding below. The rest are basically on site. Here to deal with those Suya gates. There's 2 though, 1 to the left, 1 to the right. Nice swing and peek from Hajime. Does it successfully without getting traded back either. Takes out JackDad. That's probably the round, as he was able to do that successfully. Maybe don't want to go too early, though, Xenoxes, or to make their last-ditch push in. Nate does go down. Roldini playing that last line of defense, and Bailey up above. Well, not up above, but in a very tricky spot here in a 1 versus 2. They should know that he's going to get this plant down. They are spotted him, and they have eliminated him. QConfirm, 1-1.
Good response there from QConfirm. They felt the pump there from the reading wall being open. We saw some really nice trades from Order late in that round, catching the remaining defenders a little bit off guard, but QConfirm able to recover. That's obviously the most important part. If you get knocked down, try and get yourself back up, and in the 2v1, that was very, very difficult to lose. As I mentioned, a good response, and with newfound confidence, QConfirm will head back above.
Kind of get the sense early on, I know it's very early days that we're only 2 rounds in, but this could be one of those matches that, you know, really does go back and forth, and sort of rounds are traded, and maybe 3-3-half into another 3-3-half, and then we go to OT. Raven did actually predict a QConfirm victory that would go to overtime. So I was originally then going to say Order's going to win in regulation. Which I don't think that's going to be the case here. QConfirm are looking good. And, you know, Roldini subbing in for Dark, which is so far a really good start for him. Got the 2 early kills, gets a little bit warmed up. It's been a while since he played back in Stage 1, so good to see him back.
An aggressive defensive lineup here again from QConfirm. They're bringing the Warden. I'm expecting Roldini on the Habana to likely play inside of a lounge again. We're not seeing the extension in towards shop on this occasion, so I guess in some respects it is tamed back a little bit. But nonetheless, plenty of obstacles that Order still need to overcome. Healthcare using the little punch there ability from the Aruni to melee open the bar. That's pretty common as attackers try to plant beside it. Of course, if you have a line of sight as a defender, you can deny it. I wonder what Nico can do this round though. Keep in mind, last round, got a cheeky early opener that his team unfortunately couldn't convert, but this time Specker will step up and find the first there onto Lycolis.
Yeah, and this is where we saw Order take advantage of Flores the other day in OCN, I think it was, if my memory serves me correctly, and it was more so to be able to open up those extra sightlines, if you recall. I think it was Nate who was doing it, as that's the Gemini going in from Roldini. Of course, the Flores banned out, so that's not going to be able to be taken advantage of, but one of the, benefits of it for, this sort of third floor defense is that you can sit on the skylight and start sending them down, and obviously no one can really counter that. So a couple of bans that have really gone against Order here. Got a nice early start again. Lycolis is out. 1 and 3. Rough start for the star player of QConfirm.
Key engagement downstairs here, over towards Reading. Healthcare has been droned out a second time, but he doesn't quite spot that one. Eventually will take it down, but Specker peppers some shots in. Healthcare is lit up. He's stuck. He is stuck, but he still finds it down onto Nico. No one from Order able to refrag it as there's pressure over towards the white stairs. Healthcare finishes Jack Dad elsewhere, finishes the earlier down as well there. On towards Nico. QConfirm doing a great job to rotate back downstairs.
And it's advantage for QConfirm, although kind of, because Producers down Specker almost joining him. Hajime is going to make his way over to white stairs. Get that pick up. Roldini, though, will die for it. So 3 versus 3, but Specker's low. I was going to say, so is Producer. Now he's completely gone down into the grave. Nate, with that pickup, advantage Order. They've been in this position a couple of times inside of his first 3 rounds. Not always able to capitalize, though. Nate playing that skylight position so well. 40 seconds left on the clock.
Does have the diffuser in hand, so will be forced to move, and Healthcare is such a danger still inside of lounge. Specker forced to go for the peak, so low on HP, but still wins the fight. Now it's up to Hajime, who has no smoke canisters left, but he still has the SMG in hand. This is going to be a tough, tough clutch for Specker.
Hajime is low, but so is Specker, and as he said, it's going to be very difficult. Still has 15 seconds left, has another flash, uses it. Still has a couple of drones as well, but doesn't have the time to really be utilizing that. Bit of a move here from Hajime, and he's just playing for time. And he's playing it perfectly. So perfectly that QConfirm will win the round, and unfortunately for Specker, I think just a little bit slow there in the end, just in the way he's sort of moving around the map, guys. Not with that much urgency considering the time, but yeah, look, ultimately QConfirm played it well, deserved the round win, and they've got a bit of a good start here on Cafe, because the last time they did play Cafe, they could only manage the 1 defensive round win, and now they've got 2 already this early on.
Obviously a tough position, Specker finding himself in there late, basically sending it in, not having any intel, so you can't really fault him too much on that last round. I think it was really Order's inability to clear the players down below, such as Producer Boom, who was running an absolute riot there on the Aruni, finding multiple picks, and a testament as well to the rest of the team coming alongside to aid as well over towards white stairs, applying pressure in towards Train, and just lessening, I guess, the impact of that pinch that Order were trying to commit to. And ultimately, it did wither down a lot of time and a lot of manpower there for the attack, positioning QConfirm very nicely to take the round.
Down to Kitchen over this 4th round for QConfirm. We'll see if they can continue this trend of their defense, really withstanding here. Order haven't really done too much wrong though, guys. These rounds have been pretty close. It will come back to bite them though if QConfirm continue to, build this platform and then sort of leap from it and just continue to find these rounds, especially once they eventually go into the second half and have their own attacking half, which proved to be very successful for Invictus Gaming 48 hours ago. Order by no means, though, are that far gone. Only 1 round behind QConfirm. They've looked good. It's just about maybe just cleaning up some of their late round execution.
Yeah. Order looking to clean things up. I mean, on the side of QConfirm, they've already doubled their round count from Tuesday night, so a golf clap for them in the chat. Big performance. I mean, obviously, not the most difficult of tasks to double a one-round score against Invictus, but nonetheless is a sign that they're not in a complete capitulation at the moment. Their form is not completely down the drain, and maybe Tuesday was a one-off. That said, still a long way to go here. And being on the defense, we are expecting them to mount some rounds onto the board. Specker got the opening pick in the last round, and on that, Nomad plays a pivotal role in this round as the attack tries to take control of above, and he'll be placing those air jabs down to ensure that QConfirm cannot retake. Now, at the moment, they're playing quite passive in towards the side on the ground floor. No one really pressuring the likes of the third and second floor, but Nico is already pressuring all the way down below with some pretty insane angles.
Order just going to start sweeping through as quick as they can. Over towards pillars at the moment. A lot of time in the clock, but they need to make sure that their time management is decent. This is a nice little sightline opened up by Nico. Down below. Healthcare over towards Bar, though. Could be in a cheeky position to maybe catch someone off guard from Order if they are caught slipping. But honestly, decent timing here. Still got a minute 20 seconds on the clock. They'll get to work, open up a few of these floorboards, get those sightlines in, clear out some utility, and then eventually make their push. But Hajime watching over towards Bakery. Just covering all angles here, QConfirm.
Warvert being established here by Order. Trying to make these defenders feel uneasy in towards the site, try and force them out of key locations and maybe force a retake site. Now, there could be an engagement over towards bottom red. No, that's a Gemini there, sent out by Bailey. Needs to wait for another to refresh if he so desires, but the rest of the team needs to get a little bit of a wriggle on now. Where are they going to mount this attack from? If it's Bakery, Hajime needs to be cleared.
It's really well played from QConfirm. They've only got one on site, technically, so they're basically forcing this horizontal push now from Order towards the end, played off site, and then once Order get on site, then they can come back in and sort of pinch them and wrap themselves around, I guess. But now, with only 20 seconds left, you do start to push in towards the back of site and really make it even more difficult for Order to continue their attack here. Gas Babe out from like Colas, has Healthcare just to his right. He's pushing up, almost like he's pushing into the front lines of this little war that's going on inside of the kitchen. The spray, ineffective, doesn't find the target, and he's taking shots from behind. There's a trade. Only 5 seconds left, though. This is going to favor QConfirm unless Order can find the kills in time. They won't. Healthcare hides. Jack Dad can stick it, though. And if he can get Specker to watch his angles, he can hold it all the way. Only so many seconds left. He gets it, but Healthcare. He's got the pistol out. He's got 3 for the round. He does it big. QConfirm go up 3-1. Oh.
Ho-ho! Healthcare, what a clutch with the pistol in hand. Big, big round from him, and QConfirm continue to build this lead. It was a close one in the end, but you just cannot count Healthcare out from any engagement. Just such a clutch player for this team.
Tactical timeout for Order, no surprise. I like the fact that they're taking it early, down 3-1. They've had a couple of rounds now, guys, where, and when I say a couple, honestly, it feels like almost all 3 of QConfirm's round wins have been so close. Maybe not necessarily like coin flip close, but I mean, as close as you can get to that. We had a 1v1, you had that, you know, little triple kill there from Healthcare at the end. Those were the last 2 rounds, so they've had some moments, Order, that they could have walked away with a few more rounds, but QConfirm find themselves 3-1 up. And honestly, don't need that many more rounds here from their defense. They're looking good, they're looking clean, and they're looking sharp.
Back timeout. Now, I'm not entirely sure who called it.
Order.
Because, well, there you go. I was too busy talking. So I didn't hear over myself because I love the tune of my own voice. But yeah, Order taking this tack timeout. And look, I don't mind. There's a cheeky early tack timeout. It's better to use it now than never or too late. Order in this position can try and recover, try and bounce back, 3-3.5, and then they'll be laughing to the bank on their defense. They just need to tidy up a little bit in the late round. That is where they have been struggling. A lot of these rounds have been very tight when it comes down to the execute. QConfirm looking a little bit more confident, a little bit sharper, and it is netting them round wins. So I'm sure That is something that Order have discussed in this tactical timeout, how they're going to tidy that up, how are they feeling that they're playing at the moment, what are they going to do to bring back this deficit. But most importantly, I hope that they're feeling pretty comfortable. They're not in the worst of positions at the moment. This is very salvageable for them. It is really tough to attack Cafe, especially without Flores on the table. It can make life really, really challenging. So at the moment, they're not doing a bad job.
Yeah, and I think for Order, it's just continue on and just hope that things sort of turn in your favor here, right? Without trying to change too much up. And I think the timeout call, if I had to just guess, if I had to sort of speculate, it would be keep our heads up. Let's keep going. We're playing well. We're in these rounds. They're close rounds. We don't have to change too much in their approach. Maybe just fix a few little things and they'll be right. And if they can at least get, these next 2 rounds in a row off the back of a timeout, and while I don't have the statistics in front of me, guys, it typically feels like when teams take a timeout, they do sort of regain some form a little bit over the next few rounds. So if Order can do that, get this to 3-3, we've got ourselves a game.
Aggressive entry here down below from Order. Jack Daddy on the hard breach, sending it down below through Garage. Breached open by Nate. Now, there is barbed wire at the bottom of White, which will prevent an immediate rush, but Order seemingly trying to quickly take map control. Now, Nico found himself inside of Train. QConfirm are still setting up. They need to be careful.
Bit of a rough start for Nico as well. 1-4 in his return to Cafe, but I always expect him to look to make plays and to get involved and not allow form or stats to get in the way of that. Becker with his air jabs now, putting them in place to catch any roamers, any flankers from QConfirm on the defense. I think Order's attack timing has been okay so far, guys. I wouldn't be probably criticizing it too much. I think that late into the rounds, they've had enough time.
Bailey's in sight. How has Bailey managed to get into sight here? I don't know how QConfirm have allowed this to happen, but they need to be careful. He is very exposed, Bailey. If he does get swung, does he win the pick? He still does. That's big. Can he win the second? No. A very unlikely gunfight to win there, but Specker can swing right back. Healthcare in the 1v3. Finds one.
Not again.
This is winnable. This is
surely
winnable.
Not. He's done it already to them once before. He could just very well do it again. The Nitro Cell from Healthcare lands right on top of Jack Dad's head. He gets information as to Specker's whereabouts. He's already 1v3'd them down in Kitchen. Can he now take them on a tour down over towards Train and do it one more time? Specker is popped it off as well. 7 and 2, but it's Healthcare's show. It's his map, and it's QConfirm's game right now. Another 1v3 and another round lost to Order. Wow. How have they done this, guys? They've lost another one in this sort of position.
Speechless. That is such a good play from QConfirm. Yes, I know it is a throw from Order in some respects, but the individual prowess that he showed in that clutch to put Order under so much pressure has to be commended. That is a big, big round for QConfirm. They have really established their lead. Now they are starting to look red hot. Order, no doubt, cracking at the moment under this pressure. It's not only just the pressure of this map, it is the pressure of the entire stage now. They've used their timeout. They knew heading into this was pretty much a must-win for them. If they don't get any points here, it's really not looking good for them.
2 massive rounds from Healthcare, now 10 and 3, stamping his authority on this match. Arguably, he's been a little quiet this stage, guys, coming into this game. He was only +2 on the KD, only a 1.03 rating, below Producer Boom, below Lycolis. But this is what he is capable of as a player, these individual moments. I mean, QConfirm are up 4-1, but he's the reason why they've won the last 2 rounds.
Just insane, 10 and 3 as well, posting huge, huge numbers, and you don't need us to say it, but he has been having a huge impact in this map thus far. Whew. Really has been, I guess, a beautiful catastrophe if you're a QConfirm fan, but maybe a little bit more disastrous if you hail from the Order camp. Find themselves back into this matchup. Now, a win here in round 6, does steady the ship a little bit, steady that flow. But QConfirm just look like a different team from what they did on Tuesday night. This almost feels like we flipped the coin and it's Invictus v QConfirm again in some respects, and now QConfirm is the team dominating. That is what it feels like at the moment. So,
well, I don't think they're dominating though. When you look at the last 2 rounds, guys,
individually, not as a team. Healthcare is, maybe I should rephrase it.
Yes.
Healthcare is dominating order, but as a team, it's very close. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and you mentioned coin flip, and we're probably in that sort of position now where the last 2 rounds weren't even coin flips. They were 3v1s. We're not even talking about, you know, a close finish between 2 even teams. Order have had 2 massive advantages, and both times they've squandered them to Healthcare's impressive clutches. And then very desperate 6th round here now for Order to at least make it 2-4. To put themselves in a position where maybe in the second half on the defense, they can bring it back. Producer Boom going for a flank up towards the top of Red Stairs. Seeing if he can find anything. It's been Order as well, usually getting early advantages or getting these early picks. You know, like Colas 2 and 5 has been picked off early almost every single round. So it's not like Order have been behind early on.
2 key positions here from the defense. Producer on that flank, and also Roldini over towards Pixel. He has the line of sight over towards the default plant. If he is not cleared there on the Jaeger, that makes life very, very difficult for Order. That is surely going to be their next task on the side of the attack, trying to clear Roldini out. Healthcare, though, that's basically a free kill. Nico will claim that one, but Producer is still on this flank. Can he find? Nico does. Got the down, converted the kill. Now it's a 4v4.
Yeah, and this has almost been sort of the story of this matchup between these 2 teams. Early on and towards the mid-rounds, it's back and forth. Order get a slight lead, but then it's taken back. Just like that from Hajime getting the kill onto Jack Daddy.
Have to clear Roldini.
3 versus 3. Hajime does get cleared. Not yet Roldini, though. Still 25 seconds, still time. Spec has been big. It's a 1 versus 3, but it's not Healthcare. It's Producer Boom. And there's only 20 seconds. Surely not. I'll tell you what, if Producer Boom can clutch the 1v3, Order may as well just unplug, walk away, and give up on the night. Oh, he gets off the plant, but Nate hits the shots. Order, this time, to not squander the 3v1. And they get a much-needed round win. It's 2-4 off the back of that first half.
I gotta say, it's always a little bit scary when you're still doubting the team in the 3v1 to be able to convert the round, but I think that was justified. Order have been struggling to close out their advantages, but they do it on that occasion. I was a little bit scared that Roldini was going to just post up there in Pixel for the remainder of the round and completely decimate that attack. But eventually he was taken down, and from there, I guess it snowballed a little bit. And they did convert the 3v1. Order finding themselves in a decent position at the conclusion of the half. A 2-4 deficit. I mean, I've seen it plenty of times in Siege. And look, I don't think they'll be particularly happy with how they played out the half necessarily, considering how close a lot of those rounds were and the fact that they should probably be 3-3, 4-2, etc. But again,
I think they should be 4-2.
They can't dwindle on that. I mean, they've just got to keep their head up and say, hey, boys, you know what? We're still in a good position here. Let's do what we can do here. Let's try and muster up all the skill we have on this defense. Because, again, every single point towards the standings is really, really important.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. I think that that's where the mental aspect, and I know it's Specker and all that 95% mental and all those memes, but ultimately, they've been playing well. The 2-4 scoreline doesn't do this game justice right now. If you've just tuned in, ladies and gentlemen, that 2-4 scoreline is probably not right. Like, Order have been just as good as QConfirm. That's not to say that QConfirm haven't been good. Healthcare has been sensational. And as a team, they've still had some good moments. You know, Producer Boom's also produced some good games, and Hajime as well. But Order have been in 2 3v1 situations and squandered them both times. And when that happens, you kind of have to say, well, they probably should have done this and this. They didn't, though, and that's the credit to Healthcare. That's the credit to QConfirm. That's why they've earned this 4-2 lead. And I honestly think on the attack here, they should be able to actually go on and finish this off pretty comfortably. But that's where Order have just got to keep themselves mentally in check and say, hey, we're playing well. Let's now go over to the defense. Let's slow this game down a little bit, get a couple of rounds on the board, and we're right back in it.
Hustle being brought here from the defense on the side of Order. I didn't see exactly where those barricades were placed, but I can only assume they are trying to slow down this attack a little bit. So there's one on the double door towards shop, doubled up with an Aruni gate and fortifying the position there of Nate. That one's pretty spicy. Now, look like the other ones are on the cocktail bulk, so yeah, not entirely sure where they have been placed. They could be missing my eye, but either way, Order looking to drain the time of their opponents here as much as possible. Now, this is pretty risky, pretty aggressive here from Nate as he reactivates that Sawyer gate. But if you can net a kill or two, or again, just continue to drain time, it could be worthwhile. That doesn't hit the mark, as it was a Gemini. Yes, it was. No blood will saturate the walls any redder than they already are. It's both teams. They just sit and wait.
It's hard to gauge who that sort of favors. Does it favor Order that's still got 5 alive? The longer this goes on, that time management becomes a factor for QConfirm. But they're getting to work, right? They're dealing with a lot of this utility. So it's not like they're sitting around doing nothing. They're making it easier for their eventual entry. There's an E1D. Nate, though, in a good position over at Red Stairs. Oh. If he continues to push up, he should be able to get this flanking kill. Oh, literally, as he's dropping down the hatch, Nate! The timing is everything as he catches Hajime at the worst of times. Nico's got 2 for the round, and suddenly Order with a 5v2 advantage here in the 7th round as they look to make it 3-4 overall. They should be able to do that. I don't even think they are capable of throwing a 1 versus 4. Bailey cleans up, and a very good round from Order.
Really well played by Order there in the mid round, and they really did bear the fruits of their setup and their ability to waste time and pressure their opponents in the early round. That shop clear was pretty efficient there from QConfirm, but it did feel like they were rushing things a little bit. They allowed Nate to scurry away. He had an impact. We saw Nico as well off screen find a pick, and I mean, already that means you're in a 3v5, and if you're not in a position to find those picks back as you're already in towards Lounge, trying to take map control while it's all going down, well, it's going to be very, very difficult to recover from that position, and Order did punish them for their mistakes.
And I think the thing here for QConfirm is because their defensive half, their first half, wasn't really like the biggest team effort. It was the healthcare show. And you can't just rely on healthcare, right? You've got to play as a team. And now that you're on the attack, you're the team that has to be proactive. You're the team that has to be making things happen. You've got to be the aggressors here. Whereas Order can start to play within themselves a little bit more. They can set up defensively. They can try and play off the mistakes that QConfirm make. And they can get back into this game based off that. And obviously, Order's attacks weren't really that bad. They should have done better than 2 attacking rounds. They should have had 3 or 4. So they've been playing really well. Now it's 3-4 on the scoreline. You suddenly can make it 4-4. The pressure will start to mount on QConfirm.
Oh, it's just crazy to think that in APAC South we could have the top place team being so closely run behind by the 6th place team in Order. It's just absolutely nutty how tight these games can be. And yes, I know people are going to be a bit of a downer and say, yes, but gosh, it's best of one, so it's not very... shut up. No one really cares. It can be exciting. It's best of ones. That's what we love about them. Sure, they might not be the most consistent, but hey, it makes the product really entertaining. A lot of these teams can show up on some days and not on others, and it does make the standings really, really tight and really competitive, and probably more competitive than a lot of the other regions. I mean, I can't think of any off the top of my head at the moment that are so closely fought out. So this is what makes APAC South so exciting, but for QConfirm, it's probably not what they want. They want to feel a little bit more comfortable at the moment, try and extend that lead at the top of the standings, but to Order putting up a really good fight.
Well, if one thing that might be coming true is the prediction from Raven, and he did say it was going to be an overtime game. It could very well still ring true. Gemini from Roldini to, of course, take out the Sawyer gate. Jack Dad, is he tempted to just have a peek down White Corridor, even for all of a second? E1D holds his place now. Expects the push, but doesn't get it. Hajime finds the opening. Roldini actually getting a kill onto Nate as well, and suddenly, very quickly, at the midpoint of this round, it's now QConfirm with a 2-man advantage. Spec has been playing well, so has Jack Dad, so has Bailey, so I wouldn't count out Order just yet.
Constantly seeing this matchup turn into 5v3s very quickly, but Bailey tries to turn the tide, will not find a pick. There was a player to his hard right, but he will not find him outside. QConfirm retain the man advantage. Still 5 players alive, or 5 on full HP, and now Order forced to go back to the site, try and find refuge, find shelter from the bombardment that is about to come their way.
And it's not often you see a Reading Fireplace defense this easily picked apart. This is full credit to QConfirm and the way that they are really just sort of toying with Order right now. 35 seconds or so on the clock remaining. Order need to find a pick as soon as possible. EE1D goes out. Time to push. Specker goes down immediately, courtesy of Healthcare. Bailey making a mad dash for it, but he ain't going anywhere. Flawless round from QConfirm, and it really was flawless.
And we were saying at the start of that round that APAC as a whole can be incredibly volatile, and I mean, we're just seeing it on a round-to-round basis. Teams are finding it really, really difficult to maintain consistency, particularly across objectives. Now, I don't know exactly what the stats are. I don't have them in front of me right now. I can bring them up to see maybe if Reading is incredibly more attacker-sided than upstairs. My anticipation is we won't have enough data. Yeah, we only have the 1 game to go off, and it's a 38% defense win rate. So not really a whole lot we can read into there, but fortunately for Order, just struggling there to replicate their form from the previous round. They did make attempts to drain the clock like they did on that bar defense, but they faltered. And if you're not the team in the 5v3, you're probably going to be the team going against. It's going to go against you, right? In that sense, it is a coin flip. Now, it doesn't play out that way, but we're seeing it time and time again. The 3v5 and the team with the 5 is more than likely going to win it out.
I think you can also argue that was probably Order's worst round of this entire match so far. Of the 8 rounds that we've played, that was the one round that Order really just got completely undone by QConfirm. There's no questions about that one. There's no coin flips, none of that business. It's just straight perfect play from QConfirm. And sort of the round before that was the first time I think Order was able to also close out a round pretty convincingly, right? As a 4 versus 1 scenario, and they closed it out pretty quickly. So I think the last 2 rounds has been very different to what we saw in the first half, where that first half was very, you know, chaotic, and rounds were won that maybe shouldn't have been run, a couple of throws. But those last 2 rounds, Order and now this one from QConfirm, both deserved winners there. So 3-5, QConfirm, 1 round away now from that match point.
The line being committed to here by QConfirm, so we may see them try to get a little bit more aggressive, try and complement some of their information gathering. Now, like Colos with a cheeky drone there will get full sight in towards Bakery, being held by Jack Daddy. He does have a couple of ADS devices preventing him from being taken down, but Producer Boom could EMP this very quickly. If they time this well, QConfirm could find a free kill.
Yeah, this is the aggressive position from Jack Dad, where if it works, then Order are going to be in a position where they can probably win the round, because Jack Dad's maybe found a kill or 2 from QConfirm, eventually looking to push in. If it doesn't work, he goes down early, they give up Bakery position, and suddenly things can just fall apart very quickly for Order. Nice swing from Jack Dad. Bailey's the one who finds the kill, and he does eventually fall to Healthcare. QConfirm up 4-3. Hajime are down on the floor, though, as the gas bags from Nate looking to just slow this attack down from QConfirm. He will be able to finish off Hajime. 3 versus 3. Specker still inside of cooking, still on site, still holding firmly. Nate needs to somehow find his way out of this tricky little position.
Half the round remaining, and QConfirm.
Oh, what intel did he... What?
I don't know. Bit of a hunch, I would presume, unless the default camera's up or there's a Velt cam out there. Either way, though, Healthcare will shut down Nate. Specker holding down the line. Bailey at the bottom of red stairs. Damage dealt by Specker. 2 players from QConfirm very, very low as they start to think about the execute. Now, there's a player rotating over towards the bus window. That's Healthcare, but Bailey finds him, and he finds himself in a 1v2.
Yeah, he lost Specker, though, at an unfortunate time, and QConfirm with the numbers able to surround Bailey, confirm the 2v1, and, well, unlike Order, they don't throw towards the end of these rounds. QConfirm, they get the job done. That's why they've got match point. I mean, I can sit back, guys, and do the if, ends, and buts, and Order should have done this, and Order should have done that. The truth is they didn't. And now QConfirm find themselves 3 rounds up, and that's all that matters. And they deserved it. And this is why they're at the top of the standings for APAC South, guys. And they win this, they go to 12 points. They get that separation. And that might be enough with 2 play days to go to secure top 4. I don't know if it will mathematically, but you would have to think practically it should.
On the side of Order, if they can manage to turn this one around, the maximum amount of points they can now obtain is 2. Unfortunately for Order, they do not have the head-to-head against Wildcard, who are above them with a 2-point lead. Fortunately for Order, if they do claim the 2 points, they'll also be even with the Knights, who they play in the final Playday. Now that could set us up for a very, very spicy final Playday, where teams are battling it out to make the top 4. Of course, that is still a whiles away, but it can't be understated that it is a pretty brutal blow for Order. Now, the match isn't over, but the amount of points they can claim, as I mentioned, is now limited to 2, and every single point does count. That said, the incentives for them to continue fighting this out are very, very high. They could still sneak into the top 4.
Yeah, but you lose this and it just becomes so much more difficult. IG, Knights, the 2 remaining games for Order. They've been in this game, and I think that's almost the thing that hurts the most is that, you know, typically when you think of an Order inconsistent match, guys, where they maybe play bad, they actually usually play bad. In this case, I don't think they've played bad. It's been one of those just unfortunate sort of matches where when you want things to go your way, it didn't quite go your way, and you sort of just hang your head a little bit and think, oh, geez, what could have been? But the best teams, they brush themselves off pretty quickly and they get back on the horse. And Order's still got 3 rounds to maybe turn this one around, but I think the damage has been done. And it's looking like a pretty good night so far for Raven in his predictions. Maybe the tide is turning there towards the back end of this stage.
Maybe. QConfirm, thinking about rubbing salt in the wounds here, maybe with the Amaru in hand. Producer Boom outside the eastern balcony. He could be ready and waiting to hook in towards Cocktail when required. Now he has a drone set up. That would indicate that's the play he's going to go for, but it is important that he does link up with the rest of his team, at least with timing, to try and cover the sound a little bit and ensure that he can, I guess, get through all that chaos. Still a long while until we find ourselves at that stage in the round as QConfirm look to pressure other parts of the map. Producer Boom taking out the default camera. Nate elsewhere on the red stairs taking down, trapped. He couldn't get back towards the site, and Roldini capitalizes.
And Roldini's been so big as well as the substitute for Dark coming in for this match has just almost picked up where he left off from stage 1. 8-6-1 in his first outing for stage 2. Has been a big piece for QConfirm in this game, and they've looked really good. Off the back of that 7-1 loss on Tuesday, they have responded on the exact same map as well against an Order team that, you know, took down Elevate a week ago. They defeated the Chiefs. They've, you know, found some form as of recent, but they are just cleaning up here. They are making Order look pretty second rate. Nico should get that kill, and he does. Healthcare goes down. There's another one over towards White Stairs, but he looks up when he needed to look down. Pretty comfortable victory in the end for QConfirm, and they are still the team to beat. They are in top spot, 12 points, 7-3 victory over Order.
A solid win there for QConfirm. Some would say a little bit cruisy, but that is what we should be seeing from the top team currently in APAC South. These are the performances that they need to put up on the board. They need to continue to put up on the board if they want to retain top spot.
And they certainly have done that. Big win against a ever-improving Order roster over the last week. It was certainly a bit of a challenge early on. That first half, as I said, the scoreline probably didn't do it justice. It was very close. It was very back and forth. Some rounds that Order probably should have won, they didn't win, and that's full credit to Healthcare and QConfirm. And in the end, I think the second half really showed the difference between the two teams, guys. The disparity was pretty big. That was a pretty comfortable 3-1 second half in favor of QConfirm, and the narrative changed pretty quickly.
Yeah, QConfirm, they looked a lot more confident than they did on Tuesday night, that's for sure, and I think that's a real testament to them being able to bounce back. I think it would have been easy for them after losing to Invictus to have dropped their heads and said, guys, you know what, maybe we're not the real deal, maybe we don't really deserve first place, but they come out of the gates today and they post a solid result. Now, it was against Order, Many would argue that they're not at the same strength of Invictus or some of the other teams in that upper echelon, but they are still a decent team. They can play good Siege, and they did. There were times where Order were playing really well, but QConfirm just continually shutting them down. A really good boost for them on the standings. They now find themselves clear of Elevate, and they'll be very happy.
I'm going to throw it back over to the desk where I have my favorite singer, my favorite predictor, and my favorite host.
Oh, I feel so privileged. I was really worried what that final little comment was going to be there. But thank you, Xenox and Guz. A great game overall here, Raven. And I mean, that's a huge statement for QConfirm to have made on the back of their loss on Tuesday night.
Yeah, it really is. Again, it just kind of plays into maybe Tuesday being a bit of a shock factor. But then again, something we actually didn't really dive into on the desk is the inclusion of Roldini again. Seems like that's worked out tonight, so maybe they're going to have some depth in that roster, go like a whole 6-man thing, I don't know, but either way, really big for QConfirm to pull out the victory tonight, because, yeah, it does put them very clear ahead in the standings right now, and, you know, some teams still have a chance to chase them down for that direct spot to the Mexico Major, but it's going to make it a lot tougher.
Yeah, it certainly will. We've got Healthcare waiting for us, so let's bring him in. Healthcare, it's great to see you and on better terms. What a game from you. How are you feeling after that one?
We felt really good because we managed to pull a win. In the same map like we played last Playday against Invictus was really tough. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was definitely a redemption for you, Healthcare. Now, I wanted to ask, I know last year in APAC North, you guys ran a little bit of a 6-man roster. You had Roldini, Hajime, and Dark all switching out. Now, today you brought Roldini in, and Dark didn't actually play. Could you explain the thought process behind that, and who should we expect to be playing on the roster in future?
Yeah, so for the first few days, Dark, he has some problems with his communication, so it would be kind of ideal for us to bring Roldini in, because he's been sitting with us like the whole scrims and practice, so we just thought that it would be better to switch them, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah, look, I would love to dive back into a little bit about what happened on Tuesday, because you guys have had such a good stage so far, except for that match against Invictus Gaming. So are you able to give us some insight into what happened?
Yeah, Cafe wasn't our really best map to play, and we look into their play style, Invictus, and they also beat TSM in the 6 Invitational. So I would say that they were pretty good at that map. And on that day, we were outmaneuvered, and they were just, their coordination was on point. That's all I can say. And they capitalized our mistakes.
Well, look, to be honest, Healthcare, it looks like you're back into winning shape and winning form. You guys go to the top of the standings as it sits right now, and I think you've confirmed that for the night. Yeah, you have, actually. So, congratulations on that. Any final words before we let you go?
No, just thank you for the support, and we'll do our best next match against Elevate, our rival. Yeah.
That'll be a big game, Healthcare. Hopefully we will see you next week after that match, but if not, we'll see you next time.
All right, man. Take care.
So there you have it. It is looking like, Dev, that QConfirm are back into their form that we saw them pretty much on every night but Tuesday night.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to think that they actually have won every single game they've played without even going to overtime, except for the one game that they only won a single round and got absolutely stomped. So yeah, it's good to hear a little bit from Healthcare. I also do find it really interesting, and something I'm going to be keenly watching is how they manage their roster going forward. They ran a 6-man roster last year. Coming into this season, at the start of Stage 1, they actually played a little bit without Healthcare. They subbed him in. We all remember how that went, just popping heads left, right, and center. And then, yeah, obviously, Roldini in for Dark now. I do wonder whether that's going to be consistent into the rest of Stage 2, and what lies ahead for QConfirm.
Certainly so. Well, what lies ahead for us, Dev, is IG and, of course, Seventh Heaven. They're coming up on the other side. This short break. We'll see you in a jiffy.